Hello, everybody. It is Saturday night. It's 6 o'clock here. New time. Well, just for today, because we have a special guest. I've been very anxious to get him on. I know guys are very anxious to hear from him also. There's not going to be a giveaway today. Derek is broke, so no giveaway today, unfortunately. I do have a giveaway scheduled for next week, though, so that should be good. Let's see. Any other housekeeping stuff before we get started? Not really. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome Mr. Eric Tang from Focustronic into the stream. And just note, he is in Hong Kong, guys, so there might be some delays and some audio stuff, so just bear with it and enjoy the stream. So, Eric, what's going on, man?
Hi guys. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's just morning now. I mean, I just got up, so I might be a little bit snoozy.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Some people here are about to go to sleep in the East Coast of the United States here. It's about 9 or 10 o'clock there.
no problem. I mean, the videos is going to be on the internet. They can watch it a little bit later. But I mean, throw out any questions you guys may have.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, as you may or may not know, Eric does your Alkatronic, your Dosetronic, your Mastertronic. They're all kind of chilling behind him there. Those are what he does. You also have some lights coming out. Is that correct? Is that told?
Yes, that's
Is that
correct.
known?
Yeah. I mean, it was supposed to come out earlier. I mean, probably similar time as we released the Mastertronic. I mean, it was actually a good lesson. Let me give this a little bit of a background. I mean, we were going to release two new products at the same time, Mastertronic and the Solartronic. And basically, it's a good lesson learned is that like you don't do two major products at the same time.
Right.
we
Exactly.
overestimated ourselves or the factory. I mean, the all the software or all the design is done, but it's basically, I mean, it's a production delay, I would say. And instead of like struggling with two at the same time, we decided, let's push out the Mastertronic first and let's get that released.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Solartronic will follow up. Because a little bit more about our background is that, I mean, we started Focustronic as a kind of a lighting company for the Reef industry. We started out with Focus One. The reason is that, I mean, our mother company, or the company that I used to work for, is a lighting company who does architectural lightings. And we do remote control, like movable lights for the hotel ballrooms and stuff like that. I mean,
Okay.
the main reason is that, I mean, for different events, I mean, people will move the tables around or move the decorations around, so they don't have to go up all the way to the ceiling to adjust the angles. And
I see.
to keep the story short, I mean, I use that technology and put it into a reef light because I mean, with reefing, we wanted to make as natural as we want for a fish tank, right?
Mhm.
And what is good about the moving light is that, I mean, you can mimic the sun travel. I mean, that's one thing. That's the original idea I had, was to mimic the sun travel. But actually, with the movement, you can do a lot more. I mean, with LEDs, I mean, starting to get popular about 6 or 7 years ago.
Mhm.
I mean, people have the issues with hotspot, right? I mean, they're bright enough, but they're all really focused.
Right.
No matter which brand you use at that time. I mean, they're really
Right.
focused. I mean, people refer them as
Well, I
laser
think,
beams, right?
I mean, personally, I mean, unless I don't, what am I saying? um, I think a lot of people want that focus light because of how it looks. Whether or not it's the right thing for the animals, they like how, just having a static picture basically. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm presuming yours go very slow. I'm presuming, like the sun.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, I mean, you don't move it like a disco light. I mean, no, not in that sense. Not in that sense. But I mean, it changes the angle every hour if you like. So basically, you can rotate it, and have the what you call hotspot, you turn that into a sweet spot because you don't want to overlight a certain
Right.
area.
Yeah. That's
And
really
I
cool.
mean, some people in the past, they have to really dim down the light just to make sure that it doesn't bleach the corpse.
Hmm.
But the surrounding of the hotspot is actually too dim
Hmm. I see what you're
compared to
saying.
the focus area. So with a movable light, a dynamic light source, I mean, you can actually have a higher output at different areas. I mean,
Hmm.
that's one of the benefits. And then, but that light didn't do really well. I mean, it has its own drawback because I mean it's a single cluster, and then when it rotates, I mean the other side, if it rotates to the left, the red will be, I mean the right will be a little bit dim, and it's not ideal. It's not ideal for the market, and that's why we actually had planned for the Solartronic. I mean, even 6 years ago, I would say.
Right. Yeah, I think I saw it on your site quite a long time ago and was wondering what it was. Um, is
Yeah.
it is it going to be just a large light? Is it going to be a small light? Are there going to be different sizes?
No, I mean right now there's gonna be only one size. I mean it will be a dual cluster light. So
Okay.
basically, you put two of the focus one light into a single housing. But what is more interesting is that we actually work with Tulio. I mean at Reef,
Right.
and we actually added two XHOs to the sides.
Oh, nice.
So basically, you have two LED strips on either side, and then a dual cluster in the center. With the dual cluster, we actually added more feature. Instead of just left and right, it can go front to back.
Oh, that's really cool. That's
So that's a kind of a dual axis rotation. So basically, you can point anywhere in your system,
that's really cool.
wherever you want,
Yeah, I don't think
anytime you want.
yeah, definitely no one's doing that. I mean, not a single soul. I don't know of any light that's doing that.
I hope nobody's doing that because it's patented.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's why no one's doing it. So, one of
um,
my questions I want to ask you before we kind of get into more technical stuff is, I presume if I recall, Jonas is in Sweden, correct? And
yes,
you're in
yes,
Hong
yes,
Kong. So how does that
yeah,
work? I'm just curious. Like, how did
yeah.
you
I
guys
mean,
meet? How did you guys get Focustronic going? And how do you guys run the business together, being so far away? I'm just
that's
curious.
a very good question, and I think we should spend a little time explaining that. I mean, Jonas is one of my partners. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I call him a partner, but we work very closely. I mean,
Hmm.
he is. I mean, I don't employ him. I mean, don't get me wrong with this, but we work so close together that I call him a partner, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I mean, couple of years, I think 2016 or so, I actually went on Reef to Reef one day, the forum, right? And then I saw him doing a post saying his DIY out controller. He was actually doing this I mean, during his free time. I mean, because he said he couldn't find one that he can use, or there's nothing in the market at that moment.
Nothing. Yeah.
I think it's even earlier than KHG. I mean, KH
Oh
Guardian.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And I kind of messaged him and said, "Hey, Jones, I mean, this is a fantastic product. Do you want to work together to put this into a real product? I mean, it's not a DIY thing anymore. It can be a product on its own, right?"
Hmm.
So basically, he messaged me back, and then he said, "Give me a couple of days. I'll think about it." And then 3 days later, he came back saying, "Yes, we should do this together." And we had kind of I mean we just we just got married. And I mean in a sense that I mean we have that we built that trust like on day one.
I see.
I can say this. I mean he sent me all the design that he have after we agreed to do it together. And I mean there was no contract, no nothing. I mean it's just based on trust. I mean
Hmm.
this is very rare now. I
So
mean
you
in
had
today's world.
you hadn't physically met him. Like, you guys hadn't at the point of time. You guys haven't even sat in front of each other, so you didn't even know if he was a fake person, essentially.
Very true, or vice
Yeah.
versa. He don't know who I am, and he just know I have a company called Focustronic, and we're doing this rotating LED fixture and stuff like that. And he think he's right. I mean, he can see the innovative side of it and the ability that we have.
Yeah.
So he went on with us, yeah, I mean, instant trust on day one. I mean, he sent me the details of what he was doing, and then I mean, me being an honest guy, I mean, I could have like run away with all his stuff, right? I mean, I tell this the same to everybody. I mean, he sent me the details, and then I can basically say bye bye, Jonas. But I didn't do that. I mean, we kept the relationship until today. I mean, this is like five years now.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. You don't see that very often anymore. Absolutely. I mean, no one trusts anybody anymore.
Exactly. I mean, even if you know the guy personally, I mean, he can still, I mean, fake you. He can still, I mean, dishonest. I mean, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
And not to talk about like 100 miles away, or not hundred thousands of miles away, without meeting them. You know what? I mean, this is really funny. I mean, we're doing a live show now. I mean, back like 5 years, me and Jonas, we never had a video conference.
Oh wow.
And it's all done by messages or emails.
So it didn't even speak on the phone at that point?
No, not even once. Until 2018, we went to Interzoo in Germany. Then we first met. So it's kind of like having this. So it's kind of like having this pen pal. So you don't see him, you don't know him.
That's pretty cool. I mean, wow. Well, that's why I was curious, because you don't see that at all anymore. You just don't see it, you know.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. That's really cool to hear. Yeah, I've spoke to Jonas a few times. When I had my Alkatronic, I was speaking to him quite a bit. And yeah, you both have been fantastic. I mean, customer service has been fantastic. Product has been fantastic. So the question on my mind is what's with the orange and white? Like, where did we come up with orange and white? That's an interesting color combination.
Yes, a lot of controversial. I mean, basically, we want this to be a more eye-catching unit. So we want a bright color.
Okay.
And we were kind of brainstorming over WhatsApp. And basically, we just say, let's go with orange at the same time. I mean, to make this a cool product, I mean, you don't want it to be like a dark black box, right?
Yeah, like everything else.
You want it to be, yeah, you want it to be, I mean, white background, and you just want to have some kind of details. I mean, we call it two sides of the strips, the details, right? And then we just instantly let's go with orange.
Yeah, my group here knows a good product that's all black. They can let you know, but there's a really good product out there. I'm being very sarcastic. That is all black.
I know.
So I think everyone in here is really wanting me to ask some questions about the Mastertronic, obviously. So you released the Mastertronic. There was a lot of hoopla coming before it. Everyone was waiting for it. I personally don't have one, obviously, yet, but I plan on definitely getting one to replace something, as everyone knows what it's replacing. But I'm really excited to get one. How has it been? I mean, how have people that have gotten one liked it? Have you had a lot of people respond to you yet on how they like it, and anything you can comment on the product?
I mean, yes. I mean, I don't want to sound too good, because obviously this is our own product, and I mean, there's a page that we have for the owners club. I mean, people post about it. I mean, it's actually got me started doing this. I mean, right now, if you go to a Focustronic page, I mean, we do feature a different tank every week. I mean, this is going to be ongoing
Great.
for maybe May. I have people signing up until May right now. And actually, this guy, I mean, Magnus, he's also from Sweden. I mean, and after he got the Mastertronic, he actually did some kind of experiment, if you like. He started doing dosing no pox or vodka. I don't know whichever he was dosing. I mean, just carbon source.
Yep.
And he can see a trend that he can measure with Mastertronic now. His NO3 and PO4.
Right.
So basically, every 10 mil that he added, he see a drop.
Right.
And,
It's
and you won't
interesting.
be able to do this with.
Yeah, it's interesting
go
that
on.
you mentioned exactly what you just said, because my next question was a big one, and that is, why do people need automatic NO3 and PO4 tester? Because I go back and forth with so many people saying, "Oh, we don't really. Why would we need this? Why would we need this?" And it is expensive, for a lot of people. So I'm curious, why would we need one? For me, I love techie stuff, and I pricing wise, I try to get the best stuff, but this stuff is really cool to me. But your average reefer, what are they going to benefit from getting it? And you just mentioned one example, which is the carbon dosing. There goes my camera. But do you have some other cases that maybe some of your clients have been using that makes it a good buy? I mean, I can see Alkatronic. I definitely can see the reason for it. That's obvious. But Mastertronic, I think a lot of people are going to find it as a tough sell, just because that's why I'm asking why we need it, or why would someone want it. I'm curious what your thoughts are, because I've asked a lot of people and they all give me different answers.
Good. I mean, give me a couple of minutes. It's a big question, and I do have answers for it.
No problem.
I mean, let me roll back a little bit. I mean, before automatic alkalinity testing, nobody really knows what their tank is doing. I mean, during the day, because people go to work. I mean, okay, you have a weekend. You can see, you can test 4 times a day or 6 times a day manually during a weekend or during your holiday. But you can't do this repeatedly, because, I mean, we got a life. I mean, we can't just sit by the tank and start doing tests every hour, right?
Yeah.
And Alkatronic or similar product actually teaches a lot of people about what the tank is doing during the day. I mean, during light period, during off period, and even whatever they do, even changing ROA. I mean, there you can see a kind of a dip in the Alkatronic, not in the curve, because there will be a bigger consumption. And now with nutrients, is that as you know, I mean, I'm not as good as Jonas with the chemistry, but with nutrients, NO3 and PO4, I mean, you need a kind of a good ratio between them. You don't want it to be too low, or you don't want it to be too high, but you need to keep a good ratio, because, I mean, corals, they need nutrients, they need food as well. You can't starve them. I mean, people do starve them so that they bring out brighter colors, but I mean, that's not what most people want.
Right.
And again, you can go on my not go on my page, but go on the Focustronic user group. I mean, there was another user that actually did a kind of a recording of what he did. Is that he got too low in the nutrients one day, and then he simply just added I don't know how much. I mean, a little bit of the Red Sea stuff, the AB plus, and he can immediately measure not a spike, but a kind of an increase in the nutrients.
Right.
And I mean, nutrients. I mean, I would say after alkalinity, it's really nutrients that you should go with to do regular testing. I mean, for calcium and mag, I mean, it's important, but I mean, people kind of speak too highly of it. I mean, because if your alkalinity is good, you should have a pretty stable calcium and magnesium.
Right.
especially if you're using a calcium reactor. I mean, they are pretty stable.
Right, exactly.
But even if you do a balanced dosing formula, I mean, using those doses, I mean, it doesn't have to be Dosetronic, any doses. I mean, if they're accurate enough, I mean, they should be pretty balanced, and you don't really need like several measurements per day for calcium or magnesium.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, here's my thought on it. And I've went back and forth with a couple different people on this. Um, if you're I don't know. I've noticed, and I've been doing reefing for plus 20 years or so, and I've noticed that anytime my nutrients would go up, um, there's potential for obviously algae problems and so forth. But I never
Yeah.
found any reason to test more than once a week. Um, and generally, at least my tank, I would test once a week only if I started to see something weird. Um, and that's kind of where I'm going with the Mastertronic is obviously it can test once a day, and it could probably test
Mm-hmm.
once an hour even. And then you'd
Yeah.
be paying up the wazoo for reagents. But um, if I'm testing once a week manually, like I just go and test it, I find that to be accurate enough for me manually testing. So if someone's using the Mastertronic, um, do you have any recommendations for testing nutrients? I'm just curious.
I mean, yeah. Sorry. I mean, for regular testing nutrients or even calcium or magnesium, I mean, one of the reasons why I mean Mastertronic is in this kind of a size or we're still using files and stuff like that is that we don't really ask people to do a daily test or I mean several tests a day for the parameters. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
these parameters you might want to have a kind of a regular test every 3 days, every 2 days, or whatever. And and one of the main reason for it is that I mean, first of all, using a Mastertronic will actually, I mean, I would say 90% or 99% be more accurate than what you're used to doing on your own
Oh, of
manually.
course. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
didn't think about that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, we're referring to color charts. I mean, even color charts they have a range. They don't give you a number. I mean, an exact number. But with Mastertronic, you get an exact number. You can say, oh, it's 0.2, whatever, 0.2 NO3 or 0.2 PO4 or whatever. But with manual testing, you have to first of all, your eye will not look at the same color consistently.
Right.
Let's put it that way. Let's put
Yeah,
it that way.
nitrate testing
But with
sucks. I mean, it just sucks. It absolutely sucks. So I totally agree.
yeah, so I mean, you get a number that you can work with,
Mm-hmm.
and you get a trend. I mean, it's all about trend to be honest for reefing because you want to keep it stable.
Right.
And you don't want I mean you want to know what you have done to your tank and how it affects your nutrients or your calcium or your magnesium or whatever. So it gives you all the data that you need, and I mean this ties in with your group name automation. I mean,
Right.
I'm not bashing any products, but I mean, in order to automate anything, you need data, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, it's just an on-off switch.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of questions about the fun stuff. People are getting mad at me because like, why are you getting on Eric about testing? Don't you just want one? I'm like, yeah, of course I want one, guys. I'm just
And
curious why someone would buy it. I mean, you all know I'm gonna buy one, but just for the average reefer, why would they
mhm.
buy one? That's the only reason I was asking. Oh,
Okay, okay. I mean,
you
it's
guys are
almost. I mean,
crazy.
it's it's again, it's a kind of a simple question to me because I get asked a lot. I mean, I can
Yeah,
agree. 1200 or 1300 is not a cheap price. It's not
no.
easy, and it's just like people driving different cars. I actually wrote that in a post about from another page. I mean, in the BRS page. I mean, somebody asked the same question. Why would I want to pay 1300 for the Mastertronic? It's just the same thing. Why people want to drive a Civic and somebody want to drive a Tesla? It still gets you from point A to point B, right?
Right. But it makes your
And
life a lot easier.
it
I can
makes your
tell you
life a
that.
lot easier. It can really automate your stuff. I mean, this is something that I want to point out. I mean, with the release of the Solartronics, it actually worked with Mastertronic as well. I mean, this is something that no other brand is. I wouldn't say able, but no other brand has this kind of a feature, or at least until now, is that you can actually automate your lighting intensity.
Oh wow.
Most people have the lightings. I mean, no matter what lights you're using, radions, AIs, or whatever. You set it, you might tune it for a week or so, and just leave it, right?
Never touch it again. Never touch it again.
Never touch it again. No matter what test or what numbers you get for your nutrients or your calcium or whatever, you don't adjust your tank. You might adjust your doser, you might adjust your calcium reactor, but you never adjust your lights.
Nope, not at all. No, I love the idea. LEDs, I really do.
And with LEDs, I mean, this is a major feature that we can build in. I mean, with metal highlights, you can probably extend or shorten your light cycle. With LEDs, you can adjust intensity. And everybody knows nutrients really ties in with lighting intensity. The higher the nutrients, the more lights you need, and vice versa. And I'm sure everybody here will agree with this. I mean, most of the problem will actually occur when you're not home.
Right. Luckily, I'm at home all the time, but yeah.
But you do travel. I mean, after this pandemic, I'm sure. And you need to leave your tank for 7 days, 10 days, 15 days. And
absolutely. Having an auto tester is huge for that.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, a couple of questions I want to ask real quick. They're really good questions. Has CoralView reached out to you to integrate the Mastertronic with the Hydros like you already have with the Alkatronic?
That's a very good question and a very big question. I mean, we actually do get a lot of people asking for integration, and yes, we are in discussion, and we probably will do with Hydros. And I shouldn't say probably. I mean, I would say we're pretty confident that we will be working with them on the Hydros. And awesome. I mean, there's other platform that we are in discussion as well. And so I mean, it's a period of data. I mean, honestly, data is really important.
I haven't looked too much into it. Unfortunately, I've been busy, but the Alkatronic has a BNC output that allows you to just plug it into a pH. Does the Mastertronic have any type of output, or is it all IP based?
IP. I mean, it's going to be all done by API. Yeah, internet or local LAN network. Because cool. I mean, Alkatronic. I mean, for the pH, I mean, we can fool the pH BNC port to get the out data, but I think that's everything we can do with that BNC. But with calcium and nutrients and stuff like that, the value is too low. I mean, even with BNC, it's actually a voltmeter, and you can't do it any lower. If you say you have 0.2 NO3, you can't really pass that to the BNC port.
Oh, I see. Okay. Very cool. Another big question. Actually, a lot of people ask this question. Reagents. So I'll tell you just a little bit behind the scenes of what happened with me. So everyone in the channel knows my fun time I've had with your competitor ReefBot, and the headaches I've had. And one of the things that when I saw the Mastertronic, I got concerned because you guys were using off-the-shelf hobby reagents, which obviously the Alkatronic doesn't do. So is this something you have thought about? Is this something you guys are actively pursuing to have your own reagents that people can purchase that are maybe a little better quality? Can you say anything on that? I know a lot of people have asked about it.
Yes, and it's actually a good question. and let me explain what our theories behind this is that we will be adding more reagent brands, but we actually pick the best out of the market when we do the initial release.
Okay.
So we have fauna marine, tropical marine, we have Red Sea, or we have celibate for doing the even the KH test in the Mastertronic. And we will be adding more to it, like Giesman, or for European, there's a brand called Colombo, which is very similar to Giesman and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, and we also will be doing our own reagents with another company. It's not like purely on our own, but it will be kind of a Mastertronic specified or made for Mastertronic, stuff like that.
Very cool.
So there will be more reagent brands for the Mastertronic for sure, because this is actually a plus for the users. When we were not online yet, we chatted about your case that you weren't able to get reagents, right?
Mm.
For the Alkatronic. And with doing this way, everybody can probably get reagents anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, it's been tough to get these reagents as a refill kit. Usually got to buy the whole
Mm-hmm.
the whole test kit. So having a Mastertronic kit or having you guys supply the reagents would be huge for people that are getting a Mastertronic. I can already foresee that because
no, but actually the brands that we picked out, they do have refill kits. You don't have to buy the complete kit.
Well, here in the United States,
based on your...
we might have a little more difficulty getting Colombo, for instance. Just an example.
That was just a kind of an example.
Yeah. So Brett had a good question. Parameters being added. Is there any parameters you guys have thought about adding maybe in the future? Just out of curiosity.
That's a good one. Yep. Right now, let me list this out. Right now we do NO3, PO4, calcium, magnesium, KH, and also our own parameter called OLI. Right. OLI basically stands for organic level index. So basically, it tells you the water color, because you do a comparison with the RO water. Mm-hmm. So if your organic matter builds up, your color will the water color will go a little bit yellow and stuff like that. So you know when you need to renew your carbons.
Is that helpful for people that are running ozone, for example? Because I run ozone.
Yes. Then you can know if the level is good enough, or if your water quality in terms of clear water is actually deteriorating.
Very cool. Very cool. Greg would like potassium. I personally would like iodine. I think iodine is an important parameter.
These two will be added in the next couple of months.
Terrific.
So that's
awesome.
We also have that in the pipeline. So iodine or potassium, and we need to do this carefully, because some of these reagents in the kits are actually quite acidic, I would say.
So I got an interesting little story for probably you. You probably know what I'm talking about, and probably some of the people. But the Red Sea PO4 test has a bottle of, I don't know what that crap is. The really bright blue bottle, that blue liquid, and I spilled that on the ground, and I have a stain now forever, because it doesn't come off. Forever. On my garage.
You're lucky it's in your garage. It's not on your carpet.
Yeah. Winston, I finally agree with Derek. What, you don't ever agree with me? Eric, I don't know, dude. We got 3 thumbs down and 3 thumbs up. So either someone hates me now for my Sky video, or I don't know what's going on. But anyway, getting into where's my thing here? I had it popped up. You kind of mentioned this already, but I did want to ask you what makes the Mastertronic better than what makes your product superior to any other of the auto testers that are available. There are a couple that are coming out that are being tested. But what makes yours better? Let me ask you that.
It's a pretty simple one. I mean, I said it earlier, is that we give you an actual value that you can use. We don't give you a range.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the big plus for Mastertronic, is that we give you a value, so you know, oh, it's going to be, especially for nutrients because they're so low.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be 0.5, 0.3, or 0.03 for your nutrients. And it's not just, well, it's going to be between 0.5 and 0.1. So you don't work with a range. I mean, the range is, I mean, it doesn't tell you much.
Especially, again, I don't want to mention it, but especially when the test kit has a range of 20 to 50, and you're getting a value that says it's between 20 and 50. You're not getting 22. You're not getting 25. It's between 20 and 50. So that's huge that you guys give an actual value. Absolutely.
And that's one thing. And then the other thing is that I don't know if I should say this. I mean, this is a credit to Jonas again. During development, I mean, you know, I mean, how the whole Mastertronic works, because it works pretty similar to what you referred to as the other.
I've
product,
seen
right?
the videos. I spoke to Devin. He's shown
it,
me what it does. But yes, I've seen it in action. Absolutely.
It uses a syringe and a needle to draw fluids, and you know how those little files are? I mean, they have this silicone cap. Basically, they do have a vacuum if you start pulling reagents out, right? I mean, that's simple physics. And from the Mastertronic, we don't have only one needle. We have two needles that goes in.
Okay.
And the other needle is actually a vent needle, so that it breaks the vacuum, and then it draws more accurately.
Ah, okay. That's cool.
I mean, this is, I don't know if I should say this, but I mean, it's not a secret anymore now that it's released. So,
yeah. Well, one of the biggest things that I have an issue with my current unit is the amount of reagent it uses, and the fact that it only uses 50% of the reagent, and you just waste the 50%. The fact that
no. I need to correct you. No, I need to correct you. I mean, this is actually giving the other product some credits too. You don't waste the 50%. You refill it. You refill. I mean, you top off the reagents, right?
Right. It drives me crazy.
So you still use that. So you still use what's remaining, but it's just that if it's get too low, I mean, the needles is too far off the bottom, so you can't draw it.
Yeah. Well, they have fixed it apparently, but anyway. One thing that's huge for me about your kit is it has a leak detector. I'm sure guys out there didn't know that, but your unit has a leak detector built into it. Can you explain what happens and when it gets a leak? I assumed it just shuts off, right? It just stops completely?
Yes, correct. I mean, from those what we call the reaction chamber or the RO chamber, where the Mastertronic does the rinsing and also does the testing. I mean, that is being held with a kind of a plastic pot, which is kind of a trap solid water,
Mm-hmm.
and then it funnels to the leak detector. So if there's an overfill in one of those chambers, you'll get a leak detect signal, and then the whole thing will just shut off.
And I presume you get an alert on your phone as well?
Yes, we will. And actually, I was talking to the coders last night, and we will be adding this kind of new feature. I mean, it's not a really fancy one, but it's a very useful one. It's that if we have a waste bucket, I mean, you know that you need to put it in a waste bucket. You can put the wastewater back into the tank, like Alkatronic.
Like the Alkatronic.
So if your waste bucket is full, it will stop all tests.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I mean.
So if you got lazy or you got.
I mean, the fact that your unit sends you alerts is already leaps and beyond what I'm experiencing, because I get no alerts from my thing. But that's another story for another day.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, alerts for sure. I mean, we send alerts for test results or even errors. I mean, even if you have an Alkatronic, if there's any error code, you get your alert, so you can go check it when you're back home or stuff like
So
that.
is the
So you know,
Alkatronic and the Mastertronic and the Dosetronic all run off of the same app, or do you have different apps for different products? I don't know. That's why I'm
yes,
asking.
yes. After the release of the Mastertronic, we also at the same time released the all-in-one app for
Oh,
Focustronic.
terrific.
So basically, within the app, you get a dashboard, you get Alkatronic, you get Dosetronic, you get Mastertronic, and Solartronic.
Fantastic.
And
That's how it should be.
as we release more products, I mean, it will be added to the all-in-one app.
Someone had a pretty decent question. I don't know if you have the answer for this. Do you have something online that says approximation of how long the reagents last per tests? Do you have something out there that states that? I
Yes,
haven't seen it anywhere.
yes. I mean, it's actually in the user manual.
Okay.
We do tell you, for example, it tells you more than that. It tells you when you first set up your unit how many kits you need to fill the vials. Some you need one kit, some you need two kits to fill up the vials.
Okay.
So pay attention to that. And then it also tells you how many tests you can get out of the test kit, or
terrific.
how many tests you can get, out of the test kit before you need to refill.
Okay. Matt asked, will it send you an alert if a parameter is too high or low? So, for instance, if your nutrients were out of whack or something, will it send you an alert?
I mean, we do send out alert for every single test, not just out of range.
Okay. So just to confirm with Matt, there is no alert for out of range. It just sends you to the test itself. Is that correct?
Yes, it
Okay.
sends you the test itself. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we can add that if that's something that most people want. I mean, it's just an alert.
Yeah. Does it have like
Because
yeah, I can see people wanting different alerts for different things, but
you know what? If you're running one tank, it's good. But if you do run multiple tanks, I mean, you start to ignore the alerts, just like myself.
yeah. Yeah. I just did a video. It was a very minor video, but I did a video about mistakes that are made with automation, and one of the mistakes I put in that list was having too many alarms. Because when you have too many alarms, you negate half of them. You don't even know what they are half the
Exactly.
time.
Exactly. So I mean, I'm one of those users. I run a couple of Alkatronics or Dosetronic or even Mastertronics. And I mean, I should put that back. I don't have my own Mastertronic yet because it's all sold out.
Yeah,
I have my
that's
I
something we were going to
I,
discuss at the end, but yeah.
I have my development model without a shell.
So yeah, you said you might not even have one to show me in back of you. So I was like, wow, the owner of Focustronic doesn't have a Mastertronic.
No, I mean I have one. I mean it's a developer model. I mean I don't even have a case for it. It's bare metal.
Oh yeah. Someone I'm trying to remember. Yeah. Do you have any idea? I know it's a tough question. Any idea on ETA of the Solartronic? A lot of people are asking about it in chat. A lot of people are interested in it.
That's good because in I mean you can actually do a fact check. I mean I said this initially in one of my posts is that we have a very limited unit quantity for the first run, and we are actually in production now, so it should be released in the next month or so.
Oh, terrific. Well, there you go, Philly. There's your new light, man.
Yeah,
Philly,
because
this guy
I mean
Philly really wants one.
because it's a very interesting concept. I mean, just to bring back a little bit more of the Solartronic. I mean, the movement, and now we can tie that in with Mastertronic on the nutrient level. I mean, even you can tie that in with Alkatronic because even from Dana Riddle, I mean, he did a presentation back in the days about alkalinity and light intensity.
Oh, really? I'll have to look at that.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Well, I guess you could say if the corals, I'm just guessing. I guess you could say if the corals are getting more light throughout the day, they're consuming more alkalinity. That's my
Yes, but
assumption.
again, I mean, one of the point in that presentation is that you can overlight a coral,
Ah, well, yeah, yeah, definitely.
and if you overlight them, they actually they shut off, they shut themselves off, and they don't consume any more alkalinity because they need to protect themselves from getting burned.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
have
So
to watch
you
that.
can over. Yeah, it's on the internet. You can just search
Yeah,
on
I'll have to
YouTube.
look for it. Someone had a good, I don't know if this is a question, but I just came up with it. I presume your unit runs regardless of being on a network or not. When I ask that, I mean if it was to lose internet, if it was to lose network, will it continue to do its tests as normal?
Yes, it will. I mean, that's a very good question. Let me put this in a more detailed context. Yes, it will continue to test just like Alkatronic, even if it's not on the internet. It will continue to test, but you won't be getting the alerts
Right.
because it's offline. I mean, that's obvious. But at the same
S-
time, it will still communicate with Dosetronic or with other products because we do the communication in the local network in the land.
okay. So, kind of
So
next question on that.
between
Go
products
ahead. I'm sorry.
between so it's okay. Between products, I mean they communicate within the local network, so
Okay, so they don't
that's
require
a
internet.
plus.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
real big plus, definitely. Alkatronic has, if I recall, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Mastertronic, does it have the same?
no, I mean Mastertronic will be strictly Wi-Fi,
Okay, does it have a LAN as well, or just Wi-Fi?
just Wi-Fi,
Just Wi-Fi. Okay.
just Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm looking back, see if there's any other questions, guys. You want me to ask Eric before I ask him the biggest question of the day?
What might that be?
I'm looking here. When is Derek getting a Mastertronic? That's the biggest question of the day. So I heard through the grapevine that Coral Views may be getting some from
They will
somewhere.
be getting some.
I'm gonna have
No,
to bother
they have
Carlos.
ordered. I mean, I should announce this. I mean, they've ordered, and we are actually in production, and they will be getting some very shortly.
Hey, producer Reef, dude,
Again,
I just asked him.
again, the quantity will be limited. The quantity will be limited, so you guys should actually contact your local fish store or Corville directly to be on a waiting list.
Oh, I'm gonna contact Carlos tonight. I'm
Ah,
contacting him
you have
tonight.
some insider, so so you have a
Yeah.
bonus.
I mean,
you
I
can
was.
you
I
can cut in
mean,
line.
I paid a lot of money, but I did get a hydros the day it came out. So I don't know. When can I get mine, dude? I don't know when anyone can get them. He just said you're gonna have to go to leaps and bounds because there's limited quantities. So I don't know about you guys, but I will give you out. I will type in Carlos's phone number. You can blow him up all night long.
It will actually disconnect that phone.
Oh, he would kill me if I did that. Let's see. Everyone's asking when can I get one just to piss me off. Uh,
I mean, just to put this in context, I mean, one of our European distributor, I mean, he got a couple hundred units. I would say around February, and it's now all out.
oh, goodness. Yeah, you were telling me before we
I mean,
started all these people that are sold out of them. It's just crazy.
it's actually a good thing. I mean, of course, it's a good thing. But actually, the Mastertronic after it's released, I mean, for some people who haven't even heard about Focustronic, they might be starting with Mastertronic because Mastertronic is pretty much an all-in-one tester, right? I mean, it
Right.
does your alk, it does your calcium,
That's
magnesium,
right. It
and
does
nutrients.
alkalinity also. That's right.
So you can get an overview of your tank. I mean, just with Mastertronic, and if you get serious with SPS or if you get serious with the hobby, then you actually go backward and go Alkatronic and the Dosetronic.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it sure does. Can you say the price of the Solartronic in U.S. dollars? Because most of these people are U.S. guys.
I think I have it on the website. Let me pull this out. I don't want to give you a wrong number.
Okay.
Hold on. It's 1380, 1,380, and that's the list price.
Okay. That's kind of what I thought.
But
that's really
I mean,
cool.
again, just to, I mean, it's not the cheapest light you can get, but put this in this way. I mean, there's 2 LED clusters, and there's 2 strips of XHOs already built in.
Right. That's so cool.
Just imagine how much you're paying for the XHOs. I mean, just the supplementary light.
Well, that's going to be that was my next. I mean, that was my next question. Is do you have a general spread on that light? Like you could tell us, like 24 by 24. You know, because I could see. You know, you need a lot of lights to get like a 4-foot tank lit. You know.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very a broad question. I mean, people ask about the spread, but it really, I mean, for the spread of Solartronic, you can probably say 40 by 40. I can say that, but it really depends on what you're keeping and how your work aquascaping is.
Okay.
If you know what I mean, because I mean, different tanks. I mean, you need different number of lights. You can't say.
I guess, let me ask it in a different way. To light up the tank to be visually appealing to the eye.
Okay.
You say 40 by 40 would be pretty good size.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a big light. that's a good size.
I mean, yeah, it's not a small light. I mean, it's not like a Radeon XR30. It's bigger than that.
Yeah. You have, I assume, John, the answer to John's question, can you show us a picture? I assume it's on your website, right? I've seen it before. I think it's on your website, right?
Yes. I mean, it's even on a picture that you posted. I mean, that black
rectangular it is. Shape. Oh, that's right. It is. That's right.
That's the Solartronic. That's the case.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here. Let me look back at my.
And if you go on the Focustronic Facebook page, I mean, you got to probably search for it. It's quite a while ago. You can see how I did a picture of the spread.
Oh, that'd be perfect. You said it's on the Facebook page. I'm sorry, I was looking at something real quick.
Yeah, Facebook page, and I even have a video on it. I mean, if you go to YouTube on our channel, you can see how. And I mean, I have one Solartronic on my 3-foot tank, and you can see how the rotation actually allows you to pinpoint your lights to your different area of the tank. You can see the rotation, how it works.
Yeah, I really want to see that after this. I'm gonna take a look at it before bed. You're gonna go back to work or whatever. Well, it's Sunday over there, right? Yeah, it's Sunday, so you probably.
It's Sunday. Yeah, I'll probably go back to sleep.
Oh boy. So, I forgot to ask you, how long have you been in the hobby, and what did you do before Focustronic? Just out of curiosity.
I mean, again, I've been in and out of the hobby, but I think I got reasonably serious or reasonably successful in the past 10, 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've been into fish aquariums or tanks since I was a teenager, and on and off. I mean, I started with fresh water. I mean, Oscars, discus, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think all of us did. I did too.
Yeah. Then I moved to a saltwater tank, and my first fish was actually a tomato clown, if I remember correctly.
That's a great fish to
And
start with. Yeah.
yeah, and after that, I just got hooked. And then after a couple of years, I mean, I was still in my high school, and I tried to keep a reef tank. I mean, basically, I mean, it was really old school. I mean, if you think about it now, I mean, I filled the whole tank with life rocks.
Yeah, that's the reef. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, basically, every inch of the tank is life rocks. I mean, on the bottom. I mean, one layer, or trying to make some kind of a little mountain or something like that. But at that time, I don't have enough money to buy good linings. I mean, metal halides. I don't have time. I just have like VHOs. I mean, that's all I had. And yeah, I mean, on and off until recently, again, like last 10, 15 years, I got more successful. And now I built up this company, Focustronic, with the help
That's awesome.
of Jonas on the testing equipment. And I think right now is the best time to release the Solartronic, because I mean we have the ability to test nutrients and do the rotational movements.
Right. That's so cool. I'm gonna see that video after we're done. I don't know if I've ever told my guys or my subs this story how I got started. It's a really quick story, but when I was 6 or 7 years old, I played baseball, and I loved baseball. And I always remember this story. So I always wanted a reef. I didn't want a reef tank. I'm sorry. I wanted a fish tank, and I had already had a small 20-gallon freshwater tank with like tetras and stuff. But I wanted a saltwater tank really bad. And my dad said, "I will get you a saltwater fish tank if you can hit a home run over our school, like hit the baseball over the school."
Yeah.
And he bet me the fish tank. I hit it over the school. And what do you know? I got a 16-gallon all-in-one saltwater tank when I was about 7 years old. And my first fish was a clownfish. But here is the stupidest thing I did. The guy sold me on a sea apple. So I had a sea apple and a clownfish. That was my first tank. Yeah.
I mean, sea apple was really good. I mean, it's very colorful. I mean, I had one before, but if you don't know about it, if it dies, it wipes out your whole tank.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a good sell by that guy. So how many tanks do you have currently in your home? I see one behind you.
One in a 60 liter nano tank. I mean, in Hong Kong, we have a limited number of floor area. So I can only keep such a small one. But I have two other tanks in the office.
Oh, really? Yeah, I got 3 tanks, and it's too much for me already. Producer Reef had a really good question. I didn't ask this. Frequency on your Mastertronic, test frequency. What is the minimum and the maximum? And I presume it can't do 2 tests at once, right? It has to do one in order, or each one in order, correct?
Yeah. Minimum 1 test per week.
Okay.
Per parameter.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I mean, this is probably the basic. I mean, if you buy an auto tester and you don't give it a schedule, I mean, why buy one?
Yeah, why buy one?
Right.
I totally agree. And maximum, what per day per test? An hour? Every hour? Okay, that's
every
what I
hour.
figured. And I'm pretty sure I know this answer already, but yours tests pretty quick, doesn't it? Like, what's the average test time?
Yes, I mean, the average is about 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. As I'm sure
But,
you know, other
again,
ones take an hour and a half.
A little bit long, but again, this is automated. You don't sit there and wait for a result, right? I mean, so kind of it's okay depending, but I mean, the shorter the better, of course.
Reef said, I believe this is Richard Ross, I think. I have been supporting Eric well before he finally made it to the States. I think there are so many good products in the hobby that needs more attention. So, shout out to you, Eric.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Richard.
Someone asked how many watts the Solartronic is.
It's over 200 watts.
Okay. Oh, Richard Beck. That's who it is. I thought it was Richard
Richard
Ross.
Back.
Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Is there any other good questions for you? We've been talking about an hour now, so and you got a whole day ahead of you, and I got no day ahead of me. Let's see. Matt asks, "What if you're out of one reagent?" I presume it just skips the test, right? I think that's what Matt's asking.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Because I mean, if let's say if your test needs 3 reagents, I mean, you don't want to waste the other reagents. I mean, if you don't have enough of one, right? So basically, we skip the whole test because we do a kind of a check calculation whether the reagent is enough for the test before it starts.
I see. I'm looking at the chat. Let me. Yeah, 2 hours before bed for most of these people. I think I asked this to everybody, Eric. So every person I've ever had on that's a manufacturer, I asked them this question as the last question of the stream, that is, what makes Focustronic the best? Like, what do you, when you look at your products and you want to explain why yours are the best, what can you say? What makes your products the best? Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Again, I asked this to I asked this to everybody because I love to know, because I have a lot of people on, and I love to know what makes their products great.
Yeah, and I would credit this to a team of people. Me, I mean, I shouldn't say it myself first. I mean, Jonas, me, and some of the mods on the admin page. I mean, customer service is the first thing that we are proud of ourselves, because for any product, no matter which brand you use, there will be problems. There will obviously be problems. I mean, we can't manufacture 1,000 units and 1,000 of them will be fault free. I can't say that. But when there's a problem, we solve it immediately if the users allow us to do so. Because sometimes, I mean, if there's a problem, if we have a good user, they actually do a session of troubleshoot with us, and then we kind of know what's happening. And then you have to do this over messages or emails, and it's not easy. I mean, now it's better. I mean, they can send a video over and we can assess it. And if the users allow us to do troubleshooting or do the help with them, I mean, we can solve 99% of the case without sending in the unit.
And you also have Jonas, who's on the opposite time zone that you are. So
basically we work out 24/7. Yeah. And again, this is a huge credit to him. I mean, when we started with Alkatronic, I mean, there are a lot of questions, and sometimes for the setup, because we actually didn't do a setup video at that time. And actually, Jonas helped this guy. I mean, he told me about it over Christmas.
And
I don't think.
I mean, I don't celebrate Christmas, but I know but I know what you're saying. Absolutely. Even though I don't celebrate Christmas, I don't talk to my clients on Christmas. but that's awesome.
And you said it right. I mean, Jonas is on a different time zone, and basically we can support anybody anytime, 24/7, no matter where you are.
Fantastic. And I have to say, Eric, and I think I mentioned this to you before, but when I had the Alkatronic and I had any issues, Jonas was amazing with customer service. I didn't know you at the time. I probably would have bugged you, but I bugged Jonas, and he was so patient with me, and he understood the problems I was having, and he worked through them with. I mean, the support you guys have is fantastic, and everyone that's watching out here, just know that these guys, when it comes to customer service, by far one of the best that I've ever encountered. And I'm not just saying that because I went through it.
Yeah, and I think that's important, especially for a new company like us. I mean, it's only a couple of years old. I mean, Focustronic. But now, I mean, I can say this. Now that I mean, we got a larger user base, we actually do less support because people can go online and search about it or even ask about it.
Well, that's why I started my
We
channel. I mean, that's
yeah,
exactly why I started my channel, because there were so many people out there that couldn't get help with automation, specifically controllers, but even your product. If we had more people with your product in my group, which I think we have quite a few, they can get support on my group because it's about automation. And guess what? Your products
yeah.
are automation. So, um, absolutely. I mean, we get that's exactly why I started, because when I was thinking I couldn't get help with this, I couldn't get help with this, so that's why I created the channel. It's a one-stop shop for all things
Yeah,
automation, and
that's
that's
good. That's good.
what
And
we got.
you're doing very well. You're doing very well with the channel. I can see that.
Thank you. I'm trying. We got some thumbs down trolls, but I always have thumbs down trolls. I don't know.
You can't prevent those,
I
no
know.
matter
It's just like
how good you
you
are.
make 10,000 units. They can't all be perfect, right? So, if you
Exactly.
have 10,000 humans on they definitely can't all be perfect. So, what can you
Exactly.
do?
Good.
uh, Brett had a really quick question. I think this is a great question before we get going. Um, will you be making any sort of controller? I think that's a really good question.
It is a very good question, and I want to discuss this, even though I want to go.
Well, this will be the last
um,
one, I promise.
um, I would, in a nutshell, I would say no. I would say no because there's already a very good controller platform out there.
Mhm.
Hydros, Apex, GHL, or even some smaller ones like eCoral or somebody from Italy, Aquatronica. I mean, there's many controller platform out there, and
Yes.
or even a new brand, Felix Smart. If you heard about it,
Yep. Absolutely.
I mean they're more into freshwater, but I mean same thing. I mean it's a controller platform with sockets that you can control. And for us to do another controller platform, I mean it's just reinventing the wheel. I would
Right.
actually prefer to work together with some of these guys.
Yeah, it sounds like to me, Focustronic is about innovations and coming out with things that people don't have, and that's what I love about
Yeah,
Focustronic. So,
yeah,
all right, well,
and I think
yeah, go
good.
ahead. We got a little
I
bit
think
of a delay here. It's okay.
there will be more synergy if we work with different brands.
Hmm.
And I think that I mean it doesn't have to be like 1 + 1 = 2. It can be 1 + 1 = 3 or 4.
Yeah,
And I see the benefit of working together.
I use an Apex, obviously. I have a
Okay.
Hydros also, but I use my Apex mainly. And of course, I would love you guys to integrate with Apex. But I understand how things have to be done and all that. But uh, obviously, we all want everything to work together. But sometimes you don't get what you want. What's the Rolling Stone song?
I mean,
You can't always get what you want.
again,
That's right.
you just brought up another point that I want to talk about again, even though I want to go.
Yeah, what happened to you leaving?
No, actually, I want to go. I mean, I want to go to the men's room.
Oh,
But
okay. Let's all keep them here
um,
then, guys. Maybe we'll have the first
yeah, I mean,
person to pee in their pants on my stream live.
I mean, I get that question a lot. I mean, of course, Apex have a very big user base. I mean, even
Yes.
one of the guys said, I mean, this kind of an analogy at the big fish or the little fish. I don't know if you heard about that.
I don't. No, I don't.
Um,
No, I don't know what
oh,
that
you
is.
didn't know?
No.
Actually, Terrence brought that up in one of his own stream
Hmm.
because people been asking if Mastertronic can integrate with Apex.
Of course. Yeah.
And I mean, I think both companies do welcome that idea, but again, it's more of a business decision.
Right.
And in general, I think it's actually better for the industry or better for the public that we go with somebody else, or at least initially.
Hmm. Well, It'll be on my wish
Because
list for sure. Then again, I have to get a
yeah,
Mastertronic first. So, you know. Anyway, well, Eric, I'm gonna let you go, man. It's been about an hour and a
yeah,
quarter here. Thank you so much for coming on, and I really appreciate you accommodating the time. I know this was live, and I know it's hard to get you live, so I really wanted to get you live. So thank you so much. Go to the bathroom. Thank you
yeah.
everybody for watching,
Thank
and
you.
buy a Mastertronic, buy an Alkatronic, guys. They're really cool stuff. See ya.
Thank you.